Hello and welcome back. I'm Loudguns, and in this video we're going to look at all the ships which are available to buy in game for aUEC for over 3.5 million credits. So if you haven't seen them already, there's two videos before this, one covering all the ones under a million and one for 1 million to 3.5 million. So assuming that you've come from those, just a tiny note to say that down in the video description below, there's a link to our Discord if you're keen to meet up with like-minded people, looking for people to play with in the verse. There's also, if you're a new player, just checking out all the pretty ships in Star Citizen, my referral code's down there. That'll get you 5,000 UEC to start with, and it helps me out too. So, without further ado, on to the big ships. So for 3,548,000 from New Deal, you can get your hands on the first of the constellations, the Andromeda. So this is the gunboat variant, and the Andromeda you will have probably seen in a lot of Star Citizen's promotional material. I believe it's Chris Roberts' favourite ship, and it really was one of the ones with us from the very first days of the campaign to get this game funded. So you've got a pilot and space for a couple of turret gunners, and you can bring more of your friends along if you want. Just cram them in there. For just over 4.9 million, we've got the Aquila or Aquila, or however people say that, which is the exploration version of the Constellation. So you lose the top turret in this, and that gets replaced with a additional sort of scanning array. Not too much functionality to it this second. But it will come, I'm sure. And for 5.66 million, we've got the Constellation Phoenix. A friend of mine calls this Air Force One. It's the luxury version. Sacrifices some of the cargo space for additional rooms for your guests. Just worth noting, all of the constellations have a snub fighter attached, which is just on the back of the ship. And as of 3.13, you can get that undocked and fly around in it and then redock it with the Connie. The Aegis Retaliator will set you back just over 4 million from New Deal. This is the largest bomber currently in game. On the internals, it's got a very sort of submarine-esque feel to it, and it packs 6 size 9 torpedoes, so it's definitely got a punchy payload. For just shy of 4.25 million, we've got the Asperia Prowler. This is an alien dropship. Recently took a big jump in price. It was 2.5 million or so. So a few people out there probably kicking themselves that they didn't pick it up at that price. It's meant to focus quite a lot on stealth. Got a lot of space in the back for troops if you want to drop them for an FPS mission. But it's also got 2 size 5 guns and 2 size 3s in the pilot's control, so pretty decent loadout. Probably the reason for the Prowler's increase in price, the Anvil Valkyrie for 4.45 million. Is the human competitor, also dropship. This really has a number of benefits as well. I think it's got a decent amount of space in the back for ground vehicles. And yeah, this one's definitely quite a lot of fun if you've got a decent group of you around. The Drake Caterpillar will set you back 4.7 million from New Deal. This is currently the alpha cargo hauler out there with 576 SCU of cargo space, but it might get superseded in the short term by the C2 from Crusader. So just worth saying on this one, I should have said it on the Retaliator. Some of these ships at this sort of size, really, you start looking at modularity, and we'll expect to see probably modules released for some of these ships which can change up what they do. So they might bring in things like armories, so you can sacrifice some cargo space, but change the functionality. At 4.9 million, one of 313's additions, the Crusader Mercury Star Runner. This is primarily a data running ship, so it's got a whole bunch of functionality which we don't have in-game content for just yet. But it is a fantastic daily driver. It's the ship that I use to get from A to B, and certainly if I need to get from anywhere to Microtech. For 5.1 million, we can get the Argo Mole. That's available at New Deal. Again, anyone who's watched my channel up until this point will know that this is where I spend an awful lot of my time, mining Quantanium. So this is a multi-crew vessel. You've got a space for a pilot, and then you have 3 mining lasers. You can get out there and run it with your friends, but it is more than possible to get out there and solo mine as well. So see some of my previous videos if you want a guide on how to do that. The MISC Starfarer series, we've got the Gemini for just under 6.2 million, which is more of a military version. It's got a few more turrets, not quite as much capacity. The Starfarers are focused very much on refueling. We've also got the base Starfarer for 6.65 million. So without refueling gameplay being really in yet, there's not too much point to these ships, although I will say they make fantastic FPS levels if you fancy a bit of a shootout with your mates in space. However, we've got the Pyro system coming. It's one of CIG's sort of main goals for the next year or so. And Pyro is meant to be a lot more sparsely populated than the Stanson system is. So there'll be a lot less chance for you to stop at a station like Everest Harbour and refuel your ship. So I think refueling is something they're really working on getting into the game alongside repair. And so I'd imagine the Starfarers will come into their own once Pyro is released. The Origin 600i Explorer will set you back just under 9.5 million credits. So this is referred to as the Gentleman's Carrick. We'll see the Carrick a bit later. So it's well kitted out for an exploration vessel, but it's for those people who want to explore in a bit more luxury. Recently, I've been trying the 600i out as a bit of a luxurious bounty hunter, since it does have 3 size 5 guns on it under the pilot's control, as well as a couple of turrets. So it can actually pack quite a punch for a ship really not intended for that sort of thing. And the touring version of the 600 series, 9.9 million, also from Astra Armada. This replaces some of the internal spaces with some very luxurious living accommodation. So if you want to be a true gentleman or gentle lady, then you can get yourself out there in one of these. For nearly 12.5 million, we have the first Corvette, the Aegis Hammerhead. And it's got 6 turrets on it. Each turret has 4 size 4 guns, so this can put out an awful lot of firepower. This is a really great ship if you've got a group of mates that you want to play with. It's a great one for going out and doing bounty hunting together in. And what you can always do is put a shout out into global chat, and I'm pretty sure you'll get plenty of people who want to come and crew a Hammerhead, just because it's a really fun multi-crew experience, particularly now turrets are working fairly well. For 15.1 million, you can buy the Aegis Reclaimer from New Deal. A friend of mine has bought one of these and describes it as the world's most pointless paperweight. It was released fairly early by CIG as a proof that they could put together some of these big multi-crew ships. I think it was sort of them showing off what they could do. But its main functionality, salvage, isn't in-game at all. So I think even though we've got some elements of salvage coming in the fairly near term, we're a long way away from the type of salvage that the Reclaimer, which is the biggest salvage ship we currently have on the pledge store, is going to be capable of doing. So maybe don't waste your money on this one. reaching the fairly dizzying heights of 26.7 million. We have the Anvil Carrick available from Astra Armada. Now, this ship is downright cool. It's got plenty of space for your friends. It's really a dedicated exploration vessel. But like I said, lots of room for friends, for ground vehicles. It's got a hangar which you can fit a number of small fighters and ships into. So you can sort of park this up in orbit and take out something like a Pisces and go down to a moon surface. You can load a rover into the main hangar bay. And yeah, fantastic bridge if you want to role play out any Star Trek based fantasies. And finally, at 32.3 million, we have the Origin 890 Jump, which is currently the most expensive ship in game. This is a space yacht, and is really just there for pure bragging rights at the moment. This is the ship which says, look at me, I bought everything else, and I had 32 million credits left over. So I've got a party boat. However, it is a really beautiful looking ship. So if you meet anyone who's got one, then give them a reason to get it out and ask them for the tour. I'm sure they'll be happy to accommodate you. So thanks very much for watching. That is officially all of the ships and vehicles that you can buy in the game as of 3.13. As I said in the beginning of the first video, what I'm probably planning to do is release small updates in this series for patches, just to cover anything which has changed in price, the prices of anything which has been added to the game and where you can buy them. I might have to completely redo it in 3.15 or 3.16 whenever we get Horizon, the landing zone at Crusader, built out to the point where it's got a ship shop as well, because at that point I'd imagine we'll see things go back to how they were when we had Levski in game and we had 3 ship shops. So they compressed the entire inventory into the 2 that were remaining, but I'd imagine they'll expand it back out to 3. Certainly ships like the Star Runner, I'd imagine, will be purchasable at Crusader's homeworld. So if you found this content useful, please consider hitting subscribe to the channel if you like this sort of thing, and check out some of my other videos if you're looking for hints and tips on how to earn some of the credits to buy these ships. I'm a real firm believer that you should only spend what you're comfortable with spending on Star Citizen. It's really easy for people to get carried away, particularly when you see folks with massive ships. And everybody I meet in this game, we all love talking about ships. We all love looking at the new concept sales. I've been guilty at times of considering, maybe I can move some money around. Maybe I don't have to go on a holiday this year. So I would say just, you don't have to fall into that trap. It is more than possible to grind for these ships in game. And if the ship that you're looking at that you think is your dream ship, if it's already in game, it's probably not going to get any more expensive on the pledge store. Consider at least earning the money and buying it in game first. Try it out. Try a bunch of ships out, and then maybe part with your cash if you're playing the game a lot, if you're enjoying Star Citizen. So that's the end of my ramble. Thank you very much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.